Have you ever wondered what would happen if just one single moment in the past had gone differently? Well, today we are diving headfirst into the incredible world of alternate history. We're going to explore those razor-thin moments that could have completely changed everything we know.
You know, this is such a simple but really powerful idea. Think about it. Everything you see, everything you know, it's all the end result of this one long, specific chain of events. And if you change just one link in that chain, poof, our entire world could be totally unrecognizable.
And that is the big question we're tackling today, isn't it? We're going to look at those moments where history basically held its breath, where the flip of a coin could have created a present day that you wouldn't even recognize.
Okay, so before we can really get into imagining all these other wild worlds, we first have to get a handle on just how powerfully our own history shapes our present. And honestly, it's often in ways we don't even see.
And you know, there is no better example of this than the Roman Empire. I mean, it collapsed over 1,500 years ago, and yet its ghost is still all around us, constantly shaping how we talk, how we think, and how we live.
And I'm not just talking about some abstract philosophical ideas. No. Let's look at the actual concrete things you interact with every single day that are direct descendants of ancient Rome. Let's start with the English language itself. Just look at this. Nearly 60% of our vocabulary comes straight from Latin or from French, which of course grew out of Latin. So words like legacy, influence, nation, those are all Roman imports. The echo of Rome isn't just in old buildings, it's literally in our mouths every single time we speak.
And this right here, this just shows how deep that connection goes. Ever wonder why Tuesday in French is Mardi? Well, it comes from Dies Martis, the Roman day of the god Mars. Wednesday, that's Mercury's day. Thursday belongs to Jupiter, and Friday is for Venus. Our entire weekly rhythm is still set to a Roman beat. It's kind of wild.
And of course, the influence doesn't stop there. Our ideas about government, our legal systems, even the calendar hanging on your wall, they all follow a blueprint that was drawn up by the Romans thousands of years ago. In so many ways, our modern world is built on a Roman foundation.
So we've established that our history is this powerful, tangible force, right? And it's that solid foundation that lets us ask the single most powerful question in the world: what if? And believe it or not, people have been asking this question for a very long time. This is the Roman historian Livy, writing over 2,000 years ago. He was sitting around wondering what would have happened if Alexander the Great hadn't died and had instead turned his armies against Rome. This right here, this is it. It's the first great what-ifs in recorded history.
And from that one single question posed by a guy in a toga, an entire literary genre was born. A genre completely dedicated to exploring all of history's roads not taken. Let's dig into how it evolved.
So, how do you actually build one of these stories? Well, the most important thing to get is that it's not just pure fantasy. A good alternate history needs a plausible starting point. Fans call it the point of divergence, or the POD. From that one single change, the author has to logically explore all the cascading consequences, the ripples that create a whole new world. So after Livy planted that first seed, the idea just kind of simmered for a while. The first real novel in the genre showed up in 1836, imagining a world where Napoleon won. Then, by the 1930s, the idea went mainstream. You even had serious historians like Winston Churchill writing essays on these what-ifs. And by the 1950s, it had become this absolute powerhouse in science fiction.
All right, now for the really fun part. Let's look at some of the biggest, most popular historical turning points that authors and fans just cannot stop coming back to.
So, in American fiction, one of the most explored scenarios, by far, is a Confederate victory in the Civil War. I mean, what would North America even look like today? Would it be a continent of smaller, feuding nations? How would the history of slavery and civil rights have played out? It's a really dark but fascinating question.
And one of the foundational books for this whole scenario is Bring the Jubilee. It paints this really grim picture of a world where the Confederacy wins at Gettysburg, and then goes on to build this huge, sprawling empire, while the old United States is just left as this broken-down technological backwater. But without a doubt, the single biggest what-if in all of alternate history is an Axis victory in World War II. It is a terrifying thought that has captured the imagination of countless writers, a world literally carved up and divided between a triumphant Nazi Germany and the Empire of Japan. And of course, the most famous version of this has to be Philip K. Dick's masterpiece, The Man in the High Castle.
It paints this absolutely chilling picture of what daily life would be like in a Nazified America. A vision so powerful it continues to influence our culture to this day.
Okay, so that brings us to the final big question. Why? Why do we keep telling these stories over and over again? What is it about imagining different pasts that we find so compelling?
You know, ultimately, I think it's because alternate history does something really profound. By showing us all these worlds that could have been, it forces us to look a lot closer at the world that is. It's a reminder that our present was never guaranteed. It was built on choices, on luck, on random chance, and on countless moments that could have so easily gone the other way. These stories, they're not just escapism. They're a tool for understanding ourselves.
So, I'll leave you with this thought. If you had the power to reach back into the past and change one thing, just one single event, what would you choose? And maybe more importantly, are you absolutely sure that the new world you'd create would actually be any better? Something to think about.